Hey, it's Dave Hollett with your Gearshift Moment. Well, you may or may not be able to tell, but I'm in downtown Toronto this morning. And last week I was in New York City. And I wanted to share with you somebody extraordinary I met in New York. I was going to visit my favorite museum, the Tenement Museum in New York, and I was down there about an hour early. So like a lot of us do sometimes, I just started wandering around looking in stores, and there was a men's store in the Bowery, about a block away from the Tenement Museum. So I tried the door and the owner opened it up and he said, "Come on in." So I walked in and we started chatting away, and I noticed he looked and was dressed differently than I was. He had a yarmulke on, he had earlocks, and he had some beads hanging from his belt. And he said, "Where are you from?" I said, "Toronto, Canada." And I said, "I'm down here just visiting the museum." I said, "Boy, you've got some nice clothes." So we started chatting back and forth, and turns out he's had the store for 25 years. And my background, when I was in my 20s, I owned a retail store too. So we started chatting about business and sales. And then that segued over to life and philosophy. And I said, "Are you Jewish?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm Hasidic Jewish." And he said, "What do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I'm a speaker. I talk about human nature and character and behavior." And he goes, "Well, give me an example." So I explained the 3 RHB gears to him. First gear, narrow self-interest. Second gear, external reward. Third gear, intrinsic reward. And how if you try and act in third gear, people call you a good guy, or in the Jewish vernacular, be a mensch. And he said, "Oh, can I share a story my rabbi taught us?" I said, "Sure." He said a businessman goes to his rabbi. No, he's very kind of busy, arrogant, successful man. And he says to the rabbi, "So teach me all there is to know about Judaism. And I'm going to stand on one foot. And you have the amount of time until I get tired and have to put my foot down to, teach me about this, the wisdom of Judaism." And the rabbi says, "Are you crazy? There are people who spend their whole lives studying how to be a good Jew and the Torah, and they spend 12 hours a day reading it and discussing it." He says, "You're crazy. You think you're going to stand on one foot and I'm going to explain everything to you? Go away." So the businessman goes to another synagogue and he talks to another rabbi and he says, "I'm a busy businessman. I've got a lot of time, so I'm going to stand on one foot. And you have the amount of time until I get tired and have to put my foot down to, explain to me everything there is to know about Judaism." And the rabbi said, "Treat other people as you would have them treat you." He said, "You can put your foot down now." And Abe looked at me and he said, "I thought that was a pretty good response." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I've heard it termed as the golden rule. I think there's a lot of wisdom in that." I said, "In RHB parlance, I think the key is you have to exhibit the golden rule in third gear, which is you treat somebody with respect even though they may not treat you with respect back. And that's the hardest thing about being a good guy or trying to be a mensch, is that you act out of a point of intrinsic reward, trying to do the right thing even though people around you may not do the same thing." Anyway, I hope that helps. Have a great week.